Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home for original people peace, original people reciprocity, and original people culture. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast, and I am your host, Halzie Allen. Welcome all my narrators on this terrific Thursday. Yesterday is Wednesday. We are over the hump, moving and grooving right along. Like this year seems like it just took off. We're coasting on into the spring. Spring right around the corner. We're finally, coming up out of that so-called winter. But anyway, I just know everybody been doing fabulous and being productive and manifesting everything they want. But welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I'm gonna give you a brief overview. My narrators, they already know the demonstration. I'm gonna give you a brief overview of my podcast before diving into the content this evening. So let's start at the top. Tippy, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. So what I did is I went to design a platform where I'm basically uplifting and edifying my people and highlighting our successes and playing up our excellence in everything we do right. Because the media captures everything we do wrong. They perpetuate and generate negative stereotypes and negative stigmas within our community. So, they primarily do it for profit to sell news. Because let's face it, when does our people never not interesting? We're interesting people. But they also do it because they're ran by the powers that be. Elitists, higher echelon, upper class, wealthy socialites, millionaires, billionaires, aka wealthy, powerful white people. So, that's who controls the media. And they use the media to project the types of images they want people to see and to push the type of agendas that they want to push. Basically, they vilify everybody in comparison to them. They want to make themselves look powerful, sophisticated, cultured, refined, and they want to make everybody to aspire to be like them. And they can't do that if everybody is proud and has a sense of accomplishment and is proud of their cultures and diverse backgrounds. Like I said, they do it to everybody, but they especially love doing it to our people, because our people presents the most opposition for their way of life. They're more fearful of our people than all other groups of people, primarily because they're aware of the past. They know how they came into power. They know how they acquired all their wealth and their power and resources. So they know they're aware of their history and they're aware of ours. They know who we are. And their biggest fear is that we would band together, get on one accord, reclaim everything that they took from us, and do to them what they're currently doing and have been doing to us since the beginning of time. But it's an ill-gotten fear because our people, we don't have a history of rape. We don't have a history of claiming things as our own that is not ours. We don't have a history of taking things that don't belong to us. We don't have a history of rewriting history. We don't have a history of, saying we invented things we didn't invent, saying we discovered things we didn't discover. But anyway, I digress. My mission statement for the Narrative podcast is to basically uplift and edify my people, also to bring awareness to the listeners of how important it is to share positive frames of reference about our people, the original people, and our culture, the original culture. As a matter of fact, that's a perfect segue to my tagline for the podcast, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. That's 110% what this podcast is dedicated to. I am providing positive frames of reference about our people, the original people, and our culture, the original culture. I'll get to the original part a little bit later on in the breakdown. That's what I want to inspire listeners to do. That's my mission statement, is to bring awareness of why it's important to share positive content about our people and our culture. So like I said, I have to do that because the people outside of our culture, all they're giving about our people and our culture is negative frames of reference. That's all they have to go on to judge us by, to interact with us, to engage us, to approach us, is these frames of references that they're given about us. And all the frames of reference they're given about us are all negative. We have negative frames of references in film, television, movies, literature, just negatively depicting our images and our likenesses. So, what I want to do is to design a platform to, help change that trajectory, change the narrative, by providing positive frames of reference. I want to get across, why it's so important to do that. Which brings me to my next point. I call my target listening audience my narrators. I call my target listening audience narrators because we're living in the digital information age. Everything is done online. All information and data and history is exchanged online. Like everything is all digital now. So people equate you as an individual based on whatever you're posting online. Your personal beliefs, your value systems, your upbringing, your interests, your hobbies, all that is, assessed by what type of content that you're posting on your platforms. It's kind of not fair, but that's just the way things are done. We all have the unique ability these days to, tell or narrate our own stories. So while we cannot change the perception, we can't change how people perceive us, view us, think of us, we can control, the content that we're posting. Because we're never going to change the narrative if we as a people, just passively embrace these negative stereotypes and stigmas placed over us by the media and the powers that be by, like feeding into these negative stereotypes and stigmas by regurgitating it online, by regurgitating pimp culture, whore culture, gang culture, because it's their mission, their ulterior mission to, warp and distort our images and our likenesses. And the men, they want to criminalize us. They want to make us, super predators. They want to make us low on morals, violent, lazy, prone to, selling and using drugs, not being there for our families and not having family values, abandoning our families. And in women, they want to either make them out to be whores or, just unbearable to be around, want to perpetuate the negative stereotype of angry and aggressive and just always having an attitude. So like I said, we can't control what people think about us, but we can control the type of content we're posting online. That's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. We can use our platforms to tell or narrate our own stories, and the type of stories we need to be telling is, the way I tell it here on my platform, the Narrator Podcast, which is I'm telling stories about, family structure, unity, love, respect, dignity, being leaders and pillars within our community, having values, having virtue, having honor, having respect. This is who we were originally. Having dignity, having decorum. Walking in an upright, dignified manner. Not being perfect, but definitely not being degenerate. So like I said, that's primarily why I refer to my listening audience as my narrators. One more point about the way that the powers that be corrupt information about our people and our culture. Like I said, they have a wicked, diabolical agenda, but at the core of it, it's a business, it's supply and demand. And what they've done is create the urgency. What they're doing with all this content, the way they're misrepresenting our people and our culture, is they've created a need for degeneracy. Like, we corner the market in degeneracy, our people and our culture. And they want to pump it out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year. Like, they would just want nonstop degeneracy, nonstop negativity. So as long as we show an interest in degeneracy, they're going to keep pumping it out and keep on supplying us with it. So, posting positive content isn't the end-all, be-all solution to that problem, but it is a solution nevertheless. Next point before diving into the content, the Narrator Podcast is, a positive space. I don't engage in any slander, gossip, or, negativity of any kind in concern to our people and our culture. This is a positive space. I want to uplift and edify our people and our culture. So, I never want to down talk, demean, or denigrate anybody in our community. And I really try to discourage and talk against that because, gossip is destroying our community. I consider my podcast a gossip-free zone. If I don't know it for a fact, I don't, engage in the rumors and all that. But I do keep it real. I don't water it down. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't name drop or, bring up a celebrity's name. The only times I do that is to illustrate a point, to talk about breaking news, and the perspective that I'm talking about is from our perspective, not from the powers that be perspective, because they go out of their way to have us looking and sounding crazy. The perspective that I try to, break down everything when I do my commentary about anything is like, okay, yes, we have our in-house issues. Yes, we need to take accountability for this, that, and the third. And, this exists. We need to work on that. We need to work on this. But I focus the lens on the why. Why did this happen? Why do we react and interact with each other like that? Why? Because we've been programmed and conditioned to by the powers that be to do that. Because I'm tired of this false narrative that every time something bad happens within our community, it's always we have to do better. We have to do better. The people that have literally had everything done to us, taken from us, it's always on us to do better. So that's the perspective that I try to unpack all of my commentary about current events and current situations involving our people, or world events, like what that means for us as a people, things that's happening around the world, or just specifically within our community. Next point of order. Point of information. Shout out Eric Mays. Oh my goodness, just had a little flashback. But anyway, also, I refer to our people as original people as often as possible. I do that for a couple reasons. Number one, it's historically accurate. We were and are the original man and woman of this planet. We originally inhabited every corner of the globe you can think of, and contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get to all them places via slave boats. While the slave trade did happen, while transatlantic slave trade and chattel slavery did happen, did occur, for the most part, we were the first indigenous tribe of man. There was not one corner of the globe we wasn't already, there, like especially here in the Americas. It's like less than 30% of us came over from Africa. But they want to keep on recycling that false narrative that they just, for hundreds of years, just kept on going back and forth over to Africa getting slaves. But anyway, just said all that to say, I refer to our people as original people because I feel that's a historically accurate term. Next, I refer to our people as original people because it's also a term that, all-inclusive term that unifies us as a people. Because everybody outside of our culture, they all lump us in as one category. Europeans, Asians, and you name it, people outside of our culture, they just call us black. Like, we all black. They don't care about us being from the islands. They don't care about one group being from the islands. They don't care about one group being from Africa. They don't care about, he's Nigerian, she's Congolese. Like, they don't care about none of that. They just call us black. But we we make the indifferences, she's Trini, he's, Grenadian and all that. Like, nobody cares but us, with the exception of probably like Asian culture, because, you got Japanese, Koreans, Chinese, very similar to us. Like, in some respected circles, that's why they would call us, Asiatic black people. But, that's another topic for another time. But anyway, that's my point is, like, I refer to us as original people to unify us as a people, because we all hail from different land masses, refer to ourselves as, different things, like we believe in different things, but the one thing that we all have in common, that we can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all creation. We came from there. No matter what you call yourself, as long as you have that melanin, aka carbon, we all have that, unspoken bond. We can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for, creation. And then one more thing about creation, about us being original. We was the first ones to be fully sentient on this earth. We wasn't hunched over, lived with cranial overbites, and wielding prehistoric tools. We always been, scientifically advanced, upright. We had advanced tools. We were the original architects. Like, we was speaking in, complete sentences, creating mathematics, creating philosophy, astronomy, astrology, agriculture, building things, ships, boats, land masses, statues, cities, citadels. Like, we was like already doing that early, very early. We was here 5,000 years before every other civilization on this planet, and we wasn't covered in excessive body hair, living in caves. We definitely didn't come from monkeys. But anyway, yeah, that's why I refer to our people as original people. Last thing I want you to know about the Narrator podcast is a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast because it's an all audio platform. I got to keep you guys interested and attentive to the content that I'm trying to present to you, and the content that I'm trying to present to you is positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. I have to make it entertaining. I have to keep brief to the point and make it very digestible and applicable. I don't have the luxury of, just talking and talking and talking without a point. Like, I got my content broken up into sections, and in each section, I try to time it, put a time limit per section, so I can, give you a plethora of topics, to engage you with a plethora of topics, and, keep you informed, entertained, and attentive to what I'm trying to present to you. And I can't do that if I'm just like droning on and on and on, boring you to sleep. So that's why I try not to exceed 1 hour when I'm broadcasting. I think I covered all my bases. I'm over 300 episodes in. And if I've missed anything, then, you can go through my upload history and, catch up on my episodes. Because like I said, I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast. So they're relatively, short and sweet. You don't have to clear your entire schedule to catch up on an episode of the Narrator podcast. So without any further ado, I'm going to dive right on into the content. This is a weekday edition, formally live. It's formally live because as of December 30th, the platform that I'm on broadcasting, they removed the live feature from their software. They no longer, the platform no longer supports live broadcasts. But to no avail, I'm going to still keep my format that I use for the live broadcast. I just call it the weekday broadcast now because when I upload it, it's just like previously recorded. It used to be live, like it used to transmit directly to YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter, when they had the live feature. Anyway, so without any further ado, I'm going to dive into the content this evening here on the Narrator podcast, weekday edition. So on the weekday, I broadcast 2 times a week. The weekday edition differs from my full episodes on the weekend, meaning like on the weekends I have more sections, but on the weekday, what I primarily do is I share articles. And the reason why I share articles, I'm staying true to my mission statement, which is to share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So I know we're constantly being fed negativity, programmed and conditioned to believe nothing positive ever happens within our community. And so to offset that, during, the weekdays, I basically just share positive news articles that have inspiring, motivational, headlines. They just, inspire you and motivate you and provide you with a positive frame of reference that good things happen within our community, that we triumph in the face of adversity, that we're not always catching the short end of the stick, that we are excelling, progressing, and advancing. The powers that be, they want us to believe that we're just on this unbreakable cycle, like you can't win, don't try. They want us to just live the Crow anthem. Remember the Wiz, 1970s, the Wiz? They wanted our people to live the Crow anthem. But in this section, during the weekday, what I'm going to do, I'm going to reverse it on them. I'm going to make them eat crow by making our accomplishments and our triumphs publicized, because they only want to publicize negativity, seeing us disenfranchised, destitute, and just without hope. So, yeah, that's the primary reason why I deliver news articles during the weekday. And then after I'm done with my articles, I'm going to give some commentary on things happening around the world and within our community. The purpose of me doing that is, like I said, the media have us going out of its way to have us looking and sounding crazy. So when I'm covering commentary, I'm just putting it in perspective from our perspective, if that makes sense. And what I'm doing in that scenario is I'm controlling the narrative. But one little curveball, instead of after my articles, I'm going to do a Black History Fact because it is Black History Month. So all month long, I'll be dropping Black History Facts in the narrative podcast format. So usually it would just go articles and then commentary, and then I close out. But in lieu of Black History Month, I'm gonna do articles, Black History Fact, then commentary, and then close out. So without any further ado, let's go with this episode of the Narrator Podcast. First article of the evening on the Narrator Podcast, weekday edition. The headline reads, "9-year-old entrepreneur opens coffee shop that employs people with special needs. And the young man's name is Camden Mays. M-Y-E-S, I believe I pronounced his name correctly. And his the name of his business is called Cam's Coffee Creations. So obviously he didn't do it by himself. His mother did. He opened it up with the help of his mother, Latasha Lewis. Cam was born with a disability, a physical disability. He was born with a traumatic brain injury at birth. They wasn't aware of it at first. It progressed later on in life. They caught it by age like 7 or 8. He was 9 when he opened the shop, or actually his mother decided to open the shop. She didn't want him to use his disability as a crutch. She said, during her, she's been very vocal in why she felt the need to give him a sense of self-worth by opening the coffee shop, because she know the world was going to be cruel, because you're already a young Black man, just paraphrasing according to his mother's words. The deck's already stacked against you. You're going to get a check once a month, or you're going to feed yourself for the rest of your life. And so that was her, philosophy behind starting the coffee. And Cam is, to have his particular disability, he's very articulate, really bright and vibrant young man. So you can just go on YouTube and see his interviews. But definitely he defied the odds. I just want to throw in a quick point about that. Often though, when it comes to our people, especially our youth, doctors will intentionally misdiagnose our children, saying something's wrong with them that nothing's wrong with them. They'll put them in, special needs classes and put a label on them. And, if you're a parent and you're not super active in the school and, staying on top of that, the child will eventually grow up and get lost in the system, fall between the cracks. But, this definitely wasn't the case. She was on her post, and she found something her son can do, fostered his creativity by having the coffee shop. How they started the coffee shop was basically they was doing pop-ups. A friend of hers had her own hair salon, and she asked her could they, sell refreshments to her clients. And then, bam, with the success of that, they started just doing pop-ups, started turning it to once every other weekend to once a weekend. And then, getting proficient on social media, getting all kinds of word of mouth endorsements from the local people of that area. They was able to, partner up with some sponsors and got a full-on brick and mortar location. So that's the story of Cam's Coffee. And if you would like to know more, visit www.camscoffeecreations.com. First thing you will notice when you get to the page is the mission statement. The mission is to create a school to career pipeline for individuals with intellectual and physical disabilities. And you can call them directly at 336-505-7999. And if you want to ask specific questions, go to info@camscoffee.com. Their physical location is 120 West 3rd Street, Winston, Salem, North Carolina, 2701. And join me into giving young Cam and his mother, Latasha, a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Cam's Coffee Shop. Oh yeah, and I forgot also it was established in 2017. So he is a young man now. He started when he was 9. Now he's a teenager. So let's give a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for that. All right. Next article here on the Narrative Podcast, weekday edition. The headline reads, Black couple have thriving laundry service in Baltimore where they have 3,000 clients a year. And the name of the laundry business is called The Laundry Room. It was established in 2019 by a sister by the name of Christine Sani. It was established in PG County, Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland. She basically used to work in health. She was in health OC. She was a lab technician, and she basically stumbled onto a side hustle, which she probably really didn't need per se, because, you know, in the medical industry, that is a high-paying professional. But maybe she did because, you know, in Baltimore or Maryland, like rent and mortgage is super high. So maybe she felt the need to get a side hustle. But anyway, she got a side hustle. And it was stumbled on SudShare, and it's an app. Or she stumbled on an app called SunShare, excuse me. So it's a SunShare app, and basically what it is, you know, you're doing people's laundry. It's an app. It's kind of like, you know, door dashing. Basically, it sends you the location. They put the order in. You go pick up the dirty clothes, and you launder the dirty clothes and bring it back. So she did that, and found great success at that. Then the light bulb pops into her, you know, pops up. She's like, hey, why am I going through that app when I can just do it myself? She says she still uses the app from time to time for her clientele, but she essentially platformed from the app. Got her a brick and mortar location. So the name of it is The Laundry Room in Maryland. The physical address is 9460 Lanham, Severn Road, 2706. Telephone number 301-982-6552, and it's the I think it's just the laundryroom.com. Let me check right quick. Yeah, it's just the laundryroom.com. And so they tell you a list of all their services and, everything they offer. Frequently asked questions. They also have an app in the Apple Store or Google Play for the Droid users. So I think that's a convenient service, to say the least. We live in a go-go society. Everybody's on the go. Everybody's trying to finish their race. So if you don't have to do your own laundry, it's nice to have somebody do it. But I don't care. Just like a personal note, like I would never send my unmentionables. Like I would never have them do my underwear and socks, and I would assume females wouldn't have them do, their underwears and brasiers at a service like that. I'm just saying. But anyway, nevertheless, go support that sister. It's a very innovative invention. She thought outside of the box, and basically just was attentive and paid attention to trends and saw the need for a service like that and capitalized on it. So let's give it a warm Narrator podcast round of applause for our sister Christine Sani. Her business is also, family owned and operated. So it's generational wealth. She runs it with her husband. I couldn't find any article saying what his name is, but her husband, her children, and people within the community she employs at that establishment. So let's give a warm Narrator podcast round of applause for Christine in the laundry room. Check one, check two. Okay, I'm still here. All right, so last article of this evening. Headline reads, 101-year-old Sarah Simpkins set to graduate college along with her daughter in 2024, this year. Okay, she's going to be graduating from Bright Point Community College in Chester, Virginia, with a degree in early childhood education, and she has a 3.5 GPA. So she dropped out of school at age 20 in South Carolina at Allen University. Columbus, South Carolina, and the reason why she dropped out, she got preggers at 20 with her first of 12 children, so it's like one right after the other. She had no time for school. She had a full-on tribe, like 12 children. Good Lord Almighty, them was the days. But essentially, she moved from Brooklyn, New York. Like sometime later, she found herself in New York, moved to Brooklyn, New York, back to Virginia at 96 to live with her granddaughter, Haley Shepard Crawford. She was able to go back to college due to a Higher Education Act of 74, and this bill in Virginia allows senior citizens over the age 60 to enroll in higher education courses for credit or audit classes without paying for tuition and fees. So that's awesome. You know, that's living proof that it's never too late. Dreams do not have deadlines. You can't accomplish your goals. You got to just stay on your path. You can't be worried about everybody else. If you want to do something in life, you can do it. This sister 101 years old. So, you know, she did it for personal satisfaction. She finished the degree she started when she was 20 years old. So, you know, that's more than that's inspiration on top of inspiration. So if that's not inspiration, that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what will. But anyway, let's give her, our elder, our matriarch, a Narrative Podcast round of applause for her accomplishment. All righty, Rudy. So, this month I got count them, 2 Black History Facts. Spoiler alert, my Black History Facts is Black townships. And the reason why I felt the need to do townships to start Black History Month is just to demonstrate that, you know, we can do for self. Because people outside of our culture, that's their go-to phrase is, why you guys waiting for the government to give you a handout when we talk about reparations for, you know, everything done to our people. Because it is owed to us. This country was founded on slave labor. Every single brick of gold in Fort Knox was from slave labor. And that's the only tangible asset we have in the country. So if they still have that, they still owe us. Because this paper money is worthless. It's not even backed by gold anymore. They paid everybody else except us. The Holocaust didn't even happen in America, and our government gave them something. It happened in Germany. What was done to us was by the people living here. But anyway, I digress. The reason why I'm sharing Black-owned townships is just putting out that to people outside of our culture whenever they want to bring about the argument, you know, why don't we do for self? Every time we've done for ourselves, every time we was living in harmony, peace and harmony, and, you know, doing for ourselves and having reciprocity, here come you guys destroying our paradise. You don't want us to be a part of yours, but then we can't have our own. But anyway, today's Black History Fact. This is about the town of Weeksville, located in New York City. It was established in 1838 after slavery ended by a brother by the name of James Weeks. He was essentially a dock worker from Virginia. In 1838, he bought a plot of land from Henry C. Thorns, a land investor. He bought the land from he also bought a plot of land from a grocer in Brooklyn. And another group that he formed bought the rest of the land, and then thus Weeksville, New York was born. It was a thriving community. They had 2 churches, Bethel Tabernacle, African and Methodist Church, Berean Missionary Baptist Church. They also had their own newspaper called Freedmen's Torchlight. They also had schools and retirement homes. And if you want to know more about that rich history, go to weeksvillesociety.org or call 718-756-5250 or info@Weeksville. The physical location is 158 Buffalo Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11213. How you guys like my announcer voice? I'm getting good, huh? So, in addition to that, Weeksville basically died out due to segregation, and after segregation came gentrification. So that's why it's not around anymore. The neighborhood became gentrified, and everybody moved away. And then later on became what is now known as Bedford-Stuyvesant, the borough in New York, cordially known by the people that live there as Bed-Stuy, do or die Bed-Stuy. So, that's what became of it. So, yeah, let's give a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Weeksville. All right, next Black History fact here on the Narrative Podcast weekday edition. This is the city of Blackdom. Blackdom was located in New Mexico. It was established. Nobody's really for certain what exact year it was established. Between the years of at the turn of the century, 1901 to 1908, somewhere up in there, by a brother named Francis Martin Boyer. Legend has it he walked from Georgia to Mexico. He started with $10,000. It was crowdfunded with like 14 or 15 other people. It was a thriving community. They was most known for their blacksmith shop and their post office. The town ended up, the primary reason why it went out of, the town folded in 1920 was due to droughts, but really it was white people damming up the river so like they couldn't grow livestock. They couldn't feed, they couldn't, grow crops and feed their livestock because they, dammed up the source of water. So they irrigated the water away from Blackdom. But also, in the city of Blackdom, all the residents were fluent in Spanish. They could read and write and communicate in Espanol. So like I said at the beginning of the segment, we were the original people. Not one corner of the globe we didn't originally inhabit it. So of course, we knew how to speak Spanish because, the original Spanish speaking people were, do I even got to say it? I think I will. They were original men and women in all Spanish speaking nations in the world. But anyway, give up a warm narrative podcast round of applause for the city of Blackdom, New Mexico. All right, y'all. So here, last section of the Narrator Podcast, weekday edition. Got some stuff, man. It's getting real spicy and dicey out here. So this is my speaking point. And my speaking point, what I'm doing is I'm covering current events, current topics. I said toppings. Topics. I must be getting hungry. I said toppings. Current topics that's trending right now globally and within our community. And the purpose of me doing that is to control the narrative, because the powers that be will, go out of their way to have us looking and sounding crazy. So whatever's going on in the world or whatever's going on within our community, I'll just be unpacking it and putting my little 2 cents on it, from our perspective. So up first order of business is CDC. That thing is spiking all over the nation again, and all over the nation in many states. Hospitals are, mandating masks, facial coverings again. And that's very interesting as we're nearing election time. Because if you remember, before we went into full lockdown, they started having sanitizing stations in, public places. Then they slowly implemented mandatory masks to prevent the spreading of the you-know-what. And then finally, we went into a lockdown. But before all of that, it was spreading over, record number of cases was popping up in China. And so, history seems to be repeating itself, because that pattern is happening all over again. We're having rapid numbers of cases over there. A few episodes ago, a while ago, I told you about a new variant of it, that causes brain trauma that there was developing in a lab over there. And so now they're, forcing mass, reinforcing mask mandates in hospitals. So that's just something to soak up and take in. So more on the CDC front. They've just been approved $11,581 billion that they requested and was approved for research in regards to, C-19 research and jabs, research in jabs, billions of dollars in research in jabs. Soak that in. I'm saying soak that in. I think it's the expression is take that in. But you know what I mean. What else is going on around out here in the streets? The migrant crisis is still looming all over the nation. We're getting the influx of immigrants. Not the legal ones, the illegal ones. And it's mostly from European nations. The ones that the orange guy said was okay when he was in office. He said, I'm going to keep just to say what he said, I'm going to keep the shithole countries out of here. Well, the shithole countries are the European countries. And they're in places in large concentrations in places like New York City, Chicago, in Jersey. And they've been granted amnesty on U.S. soil without even having all their proper documentation, like state houses is building homeless shelters to contain this large wave of immigrants. And the majority of them is coming from the Ukraine. We already gave them like over $1 billion. We gave them like fighter jet planes, and now they're coming into America. And they're getting top billing over everybody. And everybody's getting mad, as they should be. Especially within our community, our people. Because how did we get skipped over? They're sitting up there building, giving them free food, free shelter, free clothing, free education, don't have to pay any taxes, giving them startup business grants that they don't have to pay back, and they're not even U.S. citizens, or they don't even have work visas. And what's worse is now they sitting up there antagonizing the police. Yes, the immigrants is beating up the police in New York City. So we already know the situation. Had there been our people, what would have happened? Like, we can't even bat an eyelash without the National Guard coming down on us. But they sitting up there letting migrants, people that ain't supposed to be here anyway, terrorize the police. Where the hell they do that? Oh, I already know. America. They do that here. That's where they do that at. Get it together, U.S. Get it together. All right. So in our neighborhood, we got a whole lot going on. I'm going to try to be brief to the point on all of these. I don't want to take too long. First up, our brother Killer Mike. He got arrested during his Grammy speech. And everybody has weighed in on it. Everybody has gave their perspective. I've heard all angles, and I'm going to give my perspective. So what had allegedly happened was he brushed past a security guard in an aggressive manner. Security guard, alleged, he basically muffed her in the face, pushed her by the face. In our community, we call that a muff or a mush, depending on where you're from. Some people call it mushing. Some people call it muffing, when you take somebody's face and just push them. But basically, he allegedly mushed her in the face, mushed her, whatever, and she fell down, and she bruised her hands. Like, that's allegedly his force, like how hard he pushed her, that, she bruised her hands. And so the other security guards surrounded him, and he pushed past all of them, because they was trying to block his entrance. And so he tried to go to Grammys, delivered a dynamic, impactful speech when he got his award. And then, like clockwork, here they come to arrest him. Oh, but the plot thickens. So it wasn't actually law enforcement that arrested him. It was other security guards. They performed a citizen's arrest. They didn't have an arrest warrant. They didn't read him his rights. There wasn't actual authentic law enforcement. These are security guards that invoked their rights to, make a citizen's arrest. He went willingly. Now, like I said, everybody has weighed in. They done gave their spiel on what happened. And so now I'm going to give my spiel on what happened. So what that was, on his special night, he's been rhyming. He's almost 50 years old. He's been rhyming since he's been like 12, 13. He's been in the industry as a, signed artist since his like early 20s and never got no award. The night he finally gets an award, like almost 50. How old is Killer Mike? Let me see. Killer Mike's 48. So he's almost 50 years old. He's 48. He's been rapping since he was like in his 20s. And on, in his acceptance speech, like the whole cornerstone of what he was trying to say is it's never too late. Don't tell me dreams don't happen. Don't tell me, this, that, and the third. Like, it can happen, this, like, da-da-da. Like, you can go YouTube, find out his exact words. But then, like, right after his speech was done, Johnny Laws come. So like I said, everybody gave their spiel. Now I'm giving mine. What happened that night was he got his Negro wake-up call, nigga wake-up call, whatever you want to call it. When the powers that be go out of their way to show you what they think about you and what they can do to you anytime they get ready to do it to you. Why did they choose Mike? Why just only pick on him to give him the Negro wake-up call? Well, let's see. He builds institutions that educate, empower, and uplifts his people, fixing conditions that our government creates. Into the powers that be, people like him are hated, despised, and feared. And so to send a message to them, they incarcerate them, tax them, and in some cases, in many cases, unalive them, like they did the majority of all of our leaders. Like they did the majority of like all our revolutionary young people. Like they did to Nipsey. Like they did to Young Dolph. Whenever we provide solutions to problems they create, guess what? We become the new problem. So he got his Negro wake-up call. That's all that was. It was a Negro wake-up call. He's been getting attacked all his career like that. Only difference between him and other people like him, he don't get on social media and advertise every time something bad happens to him. But that's all that was a Negro wake-up call. Another interesting point, a not too favorite person within our community bought up, because he always has the opposing view, but this time I kind of concur with the brother. Stephen A. Smith brought up a very interesting point. He said, Will Smith publicly assaulted another brother, another black man, on national television, and no charges was, brought against him. He didn't get escorted out of the venue and was allowed to participate in the entire performance. And that's one hell of a observation. It's a hell of an observation because it's like they don't care when we commit crimes against each other. They only care when we commit crimes against someone Caucasian. Now, they didn't release the ethnicity of the lady that alleged he roughed her up, but reading in between the lines, she's most likely is Caucasian. Because like nobody in our community, there's not too many people within our community that's going to take their job that seriously. And it's not that we're lazy. It's not that we don't care about our jobs. When we get jobs like that, we take our jobs serious. We're prideful, we're good employees, but then we're also smart. And in that particular field, they get crappy pay, they get crappy benefits. So somebody from our community, they would be thinking about all that. I'm not going to risk my physical well-being. I'm not going to sit up there and put myself in the position where somebody is going to knock my teeth out or like stab me or shoot me, and I don't have any health care benefits, or it takes a while for health care benefits to get activated. I'm pretty sure in security, unarmed security, it takes a while for their health care benefits to activate. And so, said all that to say, only a Karen would have did that, and the majority of the Karens are Caucasians. Like, don't get me wrong, we got some Karens in our community too. Like before Karen, it was Miss Jenkins sitting up out the window, looking out of her curtain, calling the police on people. So we got our Karens in our community too, but this reeks of a white woman, because this is the sense of urgency that they had, how quickly they swarmed on him. So that to me, that's the energy of a white woman in distress. She said, he disobeyed me, and that's number one. This black guy disobeyed me. I gave him a direct order. I told him not to do something, and he proceeded to do it anyway. And then I got hurt in the process. He actually touched me with his filthy black hands. So that's why I think the lady's Caucasian. Now, they might, whenever the story clears, it might have been a sister. If it's a sister, I think they want to produce a sister to say, to spin the narrative like, look, this guy ain't no hero. He beat up a woman. He don't care about sisters. He don't care about his own kind. He's an animal. And that's the image they wanted to portray. They wanted to defile his legacy, everything that he's built, everything that he's done. They want to negate all that, like going to schools, talking to our youth, hiring his own people, building institutions of empowerment and learning that we can honestly pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps with things he's creating. But, that was just, from my perspective, a ploy to tarnish his image, to make him seem like a criminal, to devalue everything he's done within our community. Because they could have came and got him before the Grammys. They could have got him in the parking lot. They had several opportunities to apprehend him before he, delivered his speech. So that was intentionally. They wanted to be intentional with their actions. They wanted to intentionally see them apprehending a dangerous black man. That's the image that they want to burn in our heads. Like, remember the old CTR computers while we stopped using them? I used to do tech a while ago, so sometimes I use technologies. Essentially, why we stopped using CTRs is like they had these things called burnt images. And this is what I'm kind of my whole point with the Narrator podcast, where I'm talking about, the powers that be distorting and warping our images and likenesses. And basically where I'm going with this is that's the last images that you will see. So with the CTR computers, they have these little thing called burnt images. What used to happen was like the computer would freeze up, and like whatever you was looking at the computer, that image would be like frozen inside the computer screen, the burnt image. This is why they moved away from the CRT technology and start using LCDs and flat screens, because that problem didn't happen no more. But as it relates, how I'm correlating that with us as a people is the powers that be want to project these burnt images. They want to burn these negative images of us to people outside of our culture. They want that to be the last image that they see. They want to, burn the image of degeneracy and violence into their heads and have them associate us with degeneracy and violence. So that's all that was. The brother got his nigga wake-up call. Next order of business within our community, currently, Snoop and Master P, who are both entrepreneurs. Snoop said he got his business module for Master P as far as like marketing himself and marketing brands. He got that from Master P. Master P said he got his from the late Eazy-E, which is ironic because, his mentor, Dr. Dre, was in the group with NWA, so everything comes full circle. But anyway, they're making headline news because some breakfast brands that they created are not being properly promoted within grocery stores nationwide, specifically Walmart, which has a diversity and inclusion department. And so they're basically like hiding them way, way back, putting other merch in front of them, and making them virtually inaccessible. So they're not flying off the shelves because can't nobody find them. There's no, there's no price tags by their displays. They're paying thousands of dollars for displays, and they're not displaying their product. So, it's sad, but it's just another indication that we need our own grocery stores, we need our own neighborhoods, and it's nothing really to complain a whole lot about, because we already know the solution. We already know the solution to that problem. We got to get our own grocery stores. We got to get our own distribution networks, because as long as they can control anything, the playing field is never going to be level. And it's a shame that we can't just cohabitate and live peacefully amongst each other, that they made it like that, but it's like that. So continue taking L's, trying to integrate and, play nice, or just accept things way they are, and build institutions where we're going to get a fair shake. Like it's really a rudimentary choice, but, Master P, he had a more positive spin on it. But me, I'm a realist. I call it like it is. It's not war, but it is survival. And they're never going to give it to you as long as they believe you need them. As long as they can have the authority to tell you something, to impart or impose a rule or a law on you, the playing field is never going to be level. They keep showing us over and over and over again. So at the end of the day, it's ownership over everything. Next order of business, there was a lot of female artists that was salty because they felt they got snubbed by the Grammys, the award show. So yeah, I always get those mixed up because I don't watch either one of them, the Emmys and the Grammys, but the Grammys. So Beyonce got snubbed, and Nicki Minaj got snubbed. First of all, it's not our award show. That's first and foremost. So the attachment shouldn't mean nothing to you. Second, to all our sisters and anybody else, and brothers too, if they felt they got snubbed by that award show, I would say take a bow. Take a bow if you didn't get the award, because they looking at it the wrong way. I'm going to give a round of applause for Nicki and all the female artists that got snubbed by the Oscars. Good job, you got snubbed. You know what that means? The reason why y'all got snubbed by the offer, why they didn't recognize you, is because you've turned into something that they don't want to promote. You've turned a corner. You've matured as an individual. You've matured as an artist. You're more serious about your art form. You're more meticulous about your art form. You're more protective of your image. You're more protective of your brand. And so they want to promote certain images. And the images that they want to promote in our community in men They want to promote the guy with his pants hanging down to his kneecap, gun in his waist, marijuana all over the table, pills and cocaine. That's what they want to promote within men. Or if it's not that, it's the effeminate guy wearing dresses, wearing makeup, being zesty as hell. That's within the men. Within women, what they want to promote. They want to promote the whore. They want to promote you exposing your naked butt behind, your vagina, your exposed breasts, talking about what you're doing in the bedroom. That's what they want to promote. So the fact that y'all didn't get no awards, that symbolizes, you ought to feel glad that they didn't recognize your talent. Because as they say, birds of a feather flock together. They're trying to promote the casting couch. That's who they want to promote. They want to promote the casting couch route. And so the fact you didn't get the award means you don't take the casting couch route. You work hard for your art form. You really pay attention to your craft now. You're trying to make your music mean something. You're trying to make your image mean something. That award means nothing. It's a piece of metal. It's not even real gold all the way through. It's gold. It ain't even gold plated. It's plastic, probably. I don't know. But it's not real gold for sure. So taking the race card off the table, just entertainers in general, you know what award shows is? Just stripping it all the way down to the bare bones. Award shows are entertainers' pizza party. You know, all these greedy Fortune 500 companies that make all these billions of dollars in the fiscal quarter. And then you know how they reward their workers. They don't give them raises. They don't improve their health care plan or retirement plan. They give them a flipping pizza party. They give them a flipping donut party. They give them casual Fridays. They don't give them money. So that's what award shows is for entertainers. It's y'all's pizza party. And as the Queen of England said, let them eat cake. Like, you can get the money, let them have the awards. But if you truly are an artist and you love what you do, that's all you should really actually be focused on. Y'all looking at it wrong. Y'all worried about the wrong things. You get paid to do something that you love. Now, an award shouldn't even make you stress you out and be mad. I get it, the artists are temperamental. Our artists are temperamental. Like a chef, the worst insult you could ever do is eating something in front of a world-class chef and spit their food out right in front of them. That'll cut them deeper than 9 million knives. So I get the feeling of rejection. I know how that wounds your pride, but like I said, y'all looking at it wrong. If you love what you're doing, that award shouldn't mean nothing. Because it ain't nothing. It's the fans that you love. It's you had a dream when you was young. You wanted to do this when you was young, like you saw somebody on TV, like, I want to do that. I want to play this instrument. I want to sing this song. I want to learn how to rap. I want to learn how to dance, whatever you got the Grammy for. And you did it. And you did it good. And every time you go out in public Or, you know, at a concert, people are cheering you on. People want to take pictures with you. Like, you don't need no dang on award to validate you. So if your art form should validate you, the fact that you love what you're doing and get the opportunity to do what you love every single day, that should be all the validation that you need. It's just this wicked, evil corporation that got you brainwashed and conditioned to believe you need an award to tell the world that you're a good artist. But even like Eminem, he even said like them type of award shows is just, it's all, you know, it's all cap. You know, they already know. They do a run through of the award show. They do a practice run through. They're reading the teleprompter. They already know what's inside the envelope. They practice the reaction for the camera so they can look surprised when they open up the envelope. All of this cap, all of this fake. Don't get all disjointed that you didn't get an award. Be happy that you didn't. That means you don't fit their mold. Because like that's how they want to market you. Because the new way for sisters, what's going to start happening is they're going to start trying to program and condition you to alter your appearance. It's already happening in small batches. Sisters are lightening their skin, straightening their nose, straightening their hair, getting blonde hair, blue contacts, getting derriere reduction surgery so they can have pancake booties, flat pancake booties like Caucasian women. That's already happening. So they're trying to turn you into what they want you to be, which is nothing. And not saying Caucasian women ain't nothing. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying, like, you are already beautiful, enchanting, alluring, and all that. Why would you want to settle for a prize that dictates to you what you are and who you are? Just keep on being you. Keep on being true to your art form and quit falling for the okie doke. And that's all I got to say about the little Grammy snubs. One more little thing, though, I want to point out, like, it took them like 50 years to acknowledge hip-hop for there to even be a hip-hop award ceremony. So while Jay-Z's speech was really exhilarating and motivational, the one flaw in his speech, he said, keep on showing up until they acknowledge you. And to me, I find flaw in that, because why would you keep on showing up into a building where nobody wants you? Because eventually you keep on being around somebody that don't want you around. The next stage in progression is to do something to you so you don't come around no more. That's the next stage of progression. Why sit up there and keep on going in buildings that you're not wanted? All these millionaires, billionaires, we should be having our own award shows, on our own streaming networks, promoting our own music, our own movies, celebrated within our own community, because they're never going to validate you. It took them 50 years. You know why it took them 50 years to recognize hip-hop as an unstoppable force? Because it took 50 years to dilute hip-hop to the state it is in now. It was in this pure, raw form. They couldn't handle that. That was unpalatable to them. It took 50 years to be before they can finally ingest hip-hop. They couldn't ingest it. It wasn't palatable to them. It was too spicy for their palate. They couldn't handle it. Never forget, I don't know if it was the Grammys or what, when we seen the changing of the guards, It was Heavy D and the boys. They was on stage. They doing their thing. Like hip hop finally arrived. It was at a mainstream award. I don't think it was the Grammys. I don't think. Because, Will Smith and them boycotted the Grammys or whatever. But he was dancing. Heavy D. Big as he was, Heavy was light on his feet. Always. So Heavy D killing it. Heavy D and the boys, they're doing their dance. They're doing their dance move. And then the camera pans into the crowd. And so, this is a long time ago because she's been gone for many years. But it pans over to B. Arthur. And if you don't know who B. Arthur is, Google her. She was on a show called Maude. And she's most famously known for her role as Blanche on The Golden Girls. It's either Blanche or Dorothy, one of the two. But anyway, the look on her face, it was a combination of disgust, bewilderment, and confusion. She was just like, she's like, what the F is this? That's how she was looking at Heavy D dancing. Her introduction to hip hop. That's how she embraced it, and a whole lot of people in the audience looked at it like that. They was looking at them the same way she was looking at them. So the point I'm saying, they're never going to fully accept it. They're never going to fully accept the raw, unbridled, true hip hop. They're just going to, it's going to keep getting diluted, and, it's going to keep straying away from the original formula, because it's dying out as far as like artisanship goes, as far as like people injecting some sustenance in their rhymes, as far as people like caring about the craft. Everybody's in the scramble for the bag. So much in the scramble for the bag, they're not taking time with their production. They ain't picking the beats properly. They ain't, their pen and pad game is lacking. They off the top skills is lacking. It's just not, you know what I mean? So not knocking to the new school, to the new wave. I ain't knocking or dissing. I'm just saying like it keeps getting more diluted and more diluted. And it's going to keep getting diluted until they feel comfortable with it. That's when you will get your awards, when they don't feel threatened by your appearance. They don't feel threatened by your image. As long as they feel threatened by your image and your appearance, they're not going to want you. They're not going to want you in their company. They're not going to want you at their award show, and they're darn sure not going to bless you with an award. So you can try to sit up there and kill yourself to be in a room that doesn't receive you well. You can keep on doing that for the rest of your career, or you can build your own institutions where you already know the demonstration. That's what I say to all our artists that hasn't won an award. Shouldn't aspire to win an award. You should just be doing whatever it is you do because you love it. That's number one, first and foremost. And then two, not seek validation from somebody that doesn't value your art form. Be around people that value your art form. Very, very simple solution to that problem. Well, I have gone over my time limit, so I'm going to put a pin in it right here. Join me this weekend for another full edition of the Narrator Podcast. This edition of the Narrator Podcast is a wrap. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast wherever you get your podcast information from. Keep in mind I broadcast 2 times during the week, once during the weekday. And then once during the weekend, if you don't want to, miss me during the weekday or the weekend, because my lives are gone, but the best way to never miss an episode of the Narrative Podcast is to follow me on YouTube. I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast by following my YouTube channel and click the subscription button, and you'll be notified on all my uploads of the Narrative Podcast. And then also follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, because the platform that I'm on uploads all my content directly to YouTube and Twitter after I post it, without posting it, manually myself. It just does it automatically to YouTube and Twitter, like right after I'm done with the episode. Follow me wherever you get your podcast information from. Halsey Allen, Narrative Podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Next order of business, I forgot to do that. This on my full episode of the Narrative Podcast last week. I got two sections. First section is the promo section. I'm inviting anybody, any entrepreneur, any original people, man or woman that owns, operates their own business or promotes functions, to hit me up to promote their business, brand, function, or whatever. And the reason why I'm doing it is to help circulate the Original People dollar within the Original People community. So if you need or would like some free promotion, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo, and I'll gladly type your, plug whatever you got going on. Body of the email, tell me everything you want me to know about whatever you want me to plug, and I'll plug it. Next section I forgot to do was my contest section. I'm running a contest for my platform, the Narrative Podcast. I'm giving away a bulk supply of, your favorite snack food item for participating in the contest topic. The contest topic is share your most recent shopping while Black experience. The purpose of me doing that is just an incentive reward program for current listeners and future listeners of the Narrative Podcast. Entry is free. I'm using the exact same email address that I just gave for the promo. The only way I'm separating the two is through the subject bars. So for the contest, just hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type "Chew on This," because that's the name of the contest. It's called the "Chew on This" / shopping while Black. If you don't want to type the entire word shopping while Black, you can type SWB in all caps. And in the body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send your prize, which is a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. Your most recent shopping while Black experience, because that's the contest topic. And then your favorite snack food item. So mailing address, your most recent shopping while Black experience, and what kind of snack would you like for as a prize. And the snack that I'm giving you isn't a single serving snack. It's a bulk supply snack of your favorite, whatever you like to munch on. So got that section out the way. Next order of business is I wrote a book of poetry titled The Black Card. The Black Card is available on poetizer.com. Poetizer.com has their own virtual library. So you go to poetizer.com, go inside their virtual library and purchase my original book of poetry titled The Black Card. The Black Card is about 30 pages of poetry, of poems. And what it is basically a all-encompassing look at us as a people, and our entire culture, everything we experience, everything we go through as a people. essentially it's a survival guide. So, purchase your copy of the Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. The Black Card will make a great coffee table read, travel book, chill book, a gift. But definitely just go check it out on poetizer.com inside their virtual library. And again, the title of my book is called The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Go cop that today. Last but not least, I also have my own poetry blog on blogger.com called hallziespoetrycorner. The address is www.mrhalziesblogs.com. My tagline for that blog is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read one of them, you'll find out why. What it is, just a collection of my poetry that I spontaneously write in the moment. I don't, contemplate on the title or on the content, just whatever pops into my head at the time. That's what the poem is. And how intricate and detailed they are, you would think that I sat down and wrote. But no, I didn't. I sincerely just write all my poetry on that blog in the moment, spontaneously. I don't, think about anything. It's just pure kinetic poetry. That's why you'll notice on my greeting card, on my greeting bio, on my poetry blog, I say I don't write the poems write themselves. It's like God just, beams me down a signal and I write the poetry. I'm just a conduit of that energy. Like, I don't write them, they write themselves. But go check those out. They're very creative and insightful. You will love them. You can support Halsey's Poetry Corner by sharing the link or poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. So, share the link, www.mrhalziesblogs.com, or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner on all platforms, whatever you're active on, your Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. But just share poems or the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. And that's it, and that's all. This episode of the Narrator Podcast is officially over. I'm inviting you to join me this weekend for a full edition of the Narrator Podcast. So stick and stay, and also tune in every single day so you don't miss a weekday edition of the Narrator Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm inviting you to become a narrator. While I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, you can change the narrative on your end one social media post at a time. Remember to download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. I'm Halsey Allen. This has been another weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. I'm signing off. Till next time. Halsey Allen, Narrative Podcast, signing off. And it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.